Yo, what's good, guys? It's the Game Day Goons. We out here with another Thursday night preview. We got the Washington Commanders versus the winless Bears. Now, both teams are coming off a pretty tough loss. Both teams had the lead and ended up losing it. Washington was so close to winning that game last week to the Eagles. They could have given them their first loss, but they came up just short in a divisional battle. Man, the over under in this game is 44 and a half, with Washington favored at 5.5 points. No, man, who are you starting this week, man?
So in this matchup, I kind of like a lot of the guys on both teams. On the Washington side, I do like Sam Howell. He did have a really bad game against Buffalo through 4 picks, but besides that game, he's looked pretty good. He passes the eye test. He's gotten really close to passing for 300 yards twice this year now. He's a good bye week fill-in. So if you have another quarterback, let's say like a Kirk Cousins who's got a tough matchup, I do like streaming Sam Howell this week. The Bears defense is really bad. They've had the least amount of sacks in the league. They've only recorded 2 interceptions, no fumbles recovered. They've allowed the fifth most yards to quarterbacks. They're tied for the second most points to the quarterback. So I like Sam Howell. Uh, from the running back side, I do like Brian Robinson. The Bears are pretty bad against the run. They've allowed the second most points to running backs. He didn't do much against the Eagles, but nobody really does much against the Eagles. He did score that touchdown that kind of salvaged his fantasy day, but I do like him a lot more against this matchup going against the Chicago Bears. Uh, I do like the receivers too, Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson. The secondary is banged up a little bit on the Chicago Bears, Jalen Johnson and Eddie Jackson. So just keep that in mind. They probably will play, but they've been limited in practice. So I do like the receivers there because the Bears have been struggling against the receivers, and I do like Logan Thomas. He's a solid streamer. We all know how
Mm-hmm.
the tight end position has been really, really harsh to deal with this
Yeah,
season.
tight ends suck, bro. I just want to go back. How nice was it? Jahan Dotson finally got a touchdown last week.
Yeah, man. People
Finally.
drafted him pretty
And
high, so
yeah,
it's
man, people
yeah,
were
we've been
drafting him
waiting.
in like the fifth, sixth, seventh round, and we've been waiting for this guy. And now look at him, man. He actually finally got a touchdown. Thank God. If only Atlanta would throw the ball to Kyle Pitts, another guy that needs the ball. But every week I'm going to talk about Kyle Pitts because it pisses me off that he doesn't get the ball. Anyways, back to this matchup. I think it was crazy. Even Terry McLaurin popped off, man. I think these wide receivers, this is going to be a big game. Like, this is going to be a
Mhm.
shootout. The Bears have the 31st ranked defense. They allow 34 points a game. Bro, you're in the NFL. You're going to allow 34 points a game. Man, that's crazy. That's like 5 touchdowns. And then the Commanders are 29th in defense. So, like, if you got fantasy players, I like that you're starting a lot of those guys, man, because this might be a big matchup. Now, beware. Thursday night games are weird as hell. I don't know what it is.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's a short week, like any of that. I've been screwed over so many times on Thursday night games. Remember last Thursday night they had who is it? Detroit
And the
and
Packers,
the Packers. Was it Detroit and the who played who did Detroit play last week? The Packers. Yeah,
Lions
that's
and the
right.
Packers, yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's a decent
And
game.
Montgomery was questionable. He came in 32 touches for over 100 yards and 3 touchdowns. Man, Thursdays are weird as hell, man. If you hit that prop bet, 3 touchdowns or even 2 touchdowns off Montgomery, I bet you'd be killing it, man.
Hmm. I agree, yeah.
Yeah, man. Sal, speaking of like over unders and like bets and anything like that, do you have anything that you'd like to share here about like what can the goons expect when it comes down to some bets, man? How can we make a little bit of money here?
Yeah, it's interesting, man, because well, obviously, yeah, like you said it, man, Thursday night games, they're built different, that's for sure. It definitely is that short week. But the over under here for the game is what, 44 and a half here.
Mm-hmm.
The Bears have hit the game total on like 16 of the last 20 games, right? The game total is hit, for the Bear, well, in games that the Bears are playing in.
Yeah, and I don't even know if that's they're scoring enough
No,
or
no,
they're
it's
getting
not that.
scored
It's
on, right?
they're getting scored on enough,
Yeah,
and like
man.
it doesn't matter. That's just the game script, right? Like they're
Yeah.
giving up. That's just how the game's going. They're giving up that many points, and then maybe teams let up a bit. Washington scores a little bit, or sorry, the Bears score a little bit at the end of the game, but it's not enough. But it does hit the over.
Yeah, I
And
think I read that it was like 10 or over 10 games of letting 25 points or more being scored on them. Like,
yeah,
bro, come on, man. Like I grew up watching like those good Bears defenses with like Brian Urlacher and like Charles Tillman and those guys. Like when the Bears were actually really good at defense, it's so weird to me to hear like Bears in 31st defense like that. I don't know, man. That doesn't really that's weird to me, man. But probably means you're gonna smash some overs, right?
yeah, I think so. I think so. And here's what really stands out, man. When I did a little deep dive earlier, the Chicago Bears definitely that okay, in Chicago Bear games, like obviously just like I said about the full game, but that first half in Chicago Bear games is that over almost always hits, man. 14 of the last 20. On the other side, in Washington Commander games, the second half hits at over like 70% clip as well in the last 20 games.
Wow.
And so what you've got
What?
is a team that loves to get, either score or give up points in the first half, and a team that loves to do the same in the second half. And so that game script is probably looking pretty good for an over at 44.5. But like you said, obviously, there's not financial advice because it is a Thursday night game, right?
Yeah, man. You never know with those Thursday night games,
Yeah.
man.
But one thing I will say, and you said it a little bit earlier, is like there were some big plays by both teams in last week's games. Like you said, I think you're talking about Terry McLaurin. What, 86 yards on 8 receptions, over 10 yards, per reception. That's big. The Bears had some big plays as well. Man, DJ Moore
Yeah,
obviously
man.
popped
DJ Moore popped off.
off.
hmm
Polk Met popped off. You know what I mean? What's
Bro,
his
I,
face? His
I,
brother.
I really hope, man. Like honestly, I really hope that these receivers start popping off, man. DJ Moore is so talented, and he's been a product of bad quarterback year after year. And that's actually the same thing that goes with Terry McLaurin, man. I
Yeah.
feel like he's had like what 5 quarterbacks in like 4 years or 3 years or something like that. Like, man, McLaurin's had a lot of different starting quarterbacks. And remember that catch he made where like he kind of went back and he grabbed the ball and he fell down? Like, man, that was like the nastiest grab. I
Yeah.
think man, Terry McLaurin needs a better QB, and Sam Howell, I don't know if he's it, but they need to start feeding these receivers. They're too talented not to be getting the ball, man.
Yeah, speaking of nasty catches, man, what's his name? I can never pronounce his first name, but St. Brown.
St.
That's my
Equator,
guy,
I don't know.
man.
Man,
Yeah,
listen, look, that was a nasty catch he had last week, man. You didn't see
yeah.
that? This,
I missed that. I
No,
gotta check
man,
that
I
out.
man, he
missed
had
that.
I think it's like a one-hand catch falling out of bounds, got both feet in, man. It looked like his brother, man.
Jeez. Bro, honestly, I don't find myself watching too many Bears games. You know what I mean? I'm watching Khalil Herbert. Like, that's another guy. Like, he finally had a big game, right? Khalil Herbert had
hmm
20 and a half fantasy points. He finally got the bulk of the carries. Roshan Johnson took a backseat, even though we thought Roshan was going to take over. It's kind of crazy, right? Like, finally you're giving Khalil Herbert the ball, and they're so close to winning that game, like so close. And I hate the Broncos because I'm a Raiders fan, so I wish the Broncos lost that game. But what do you think about Khalil Herbert this week? Is Khalil Herbert startable? Because Washington has a really good front seven.
I would say so. I mean, they've been gashed by James Cook. They've been gashed by James Conner, DeAndre Swift. So they do have the talent on paper, but they've given up big games to those running backs. And Khalil Herbert looked nice, man. I think the Bears are slowly turning it around.
You
So if they
think
just stay
so?
consistent, I mean, they're not there yet, but if they stick to their game plan, run the ball a bit more, I think they're getting back Tevin Jenkins, their offensive tackle, so that's going to help out their O-line. You can run the ball on this Commanders team, so I do like Khalil Herbert a bit. Um,
Mhm.
what do you guys think about Justin Fields, though? Are we starting Justin Fields?
Oh man, I think I don't know, man. You kind of have to, right? Like finally,
I think
of
you
course the
have
one
to,
week he
man.
pops off is the one week I'm going against him, right? And he has
That's the
such a
worst.
great completion percentage. He had 3 touchdowns. He was running the ball really nice. Man, Justin Fields looked really good. I think, you probably drafted him in your 4th to 6th round. He was a top 6 to 8 QB being drafted. So I think you kind of got to play the guy unless you have one of those stud guys. But yeah, man, I'm probably starting Justin Fields because if we think this is gonna hit the over, maybe this might be a week to start him.
Also,
Yeah.
he hit
Sorry.
career highs in sorry, yeah. He hit career highs in passing yards and in touchdowns. He threw for 4 touchdowns and had over 300 passing yards. That was the first time that's ever happened. I mean, he did it against the Broncos. They're not that good of a defense this year. But like Russell Wilson, Josh Allen, and Jalen Hurts all put up 20 plus fantasy points against the Broncos. So honestly, I like Justin Fields this week. He's a good option.
Yeah, he's projected for almost 17 fantasy points this week. I think he could do it again. One thing that really stands out to me, just going back, I know we keep jumping back and forth here, but we're talking about Khalil Herbert and what he had 103 rushing yards on 18 carries. The over under on his rushing yards this week is just 44.
Yeah, well, that's actually not that bad. I
I mean,
hope he
what's
hits
that
it.
line
If he
about?
doesn't, maybe I sell high. Actually, I made a trade today. I had to trade Khalil Herbert. My team got decimated with injuries. I traded Jalen Hurts and Khalil Herbert for Anthony Richardson, Ramondre Stevenson, and Jahan Dotson. Actually, and I'm starting Jahan Dotson this week.
That's a good trade, man. You
Yeah,
kind of
man.
had to. You're
Do you think I sold high on Khalil Herbert, or do you think I should have held him for a little bit longer?
I don't think we're gonna know
it's
until Thursday, man. Like
yeah.
if they give him 18 carries like they did last week, then
Mhm.
yeah, I mean you probably shouldn't have sold. But if we see Roshan Johnson get more than 5 touches and it's more 50-50 split, then I think he sold. I think he sold high, and I think he came away with a good deal there.
I think you know what he might be a sell high candidate. So if you're looking for some trades and maybe some guys for the second half, a week ago I wasn't able to get that trade. I'm pretty sure I asked for that exact trade. I wasn't able to get it, and this week I got that trade. So it's kind of crazy. If you had a choice between starting Justin Fields and Sam Howell, who do you start? And
Oh,
I got a part two to that after.
I'm starting Justin Fields there, man.
Justin Fields over
yeah.
Sam
I,
Howell this week?
I might have to. I mean, with that big game, he might just carry that confidence over into this game, right? So, and he's got a good matchup. So,
Yeah.
I'd probably say Justin Fields.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
man.
just looked like the Justin Fields that we were all like expecting at the start of the season. Like on draft day, that's the Justin Fields we were kind of
Hmm.
thinking was going to show out this year. Took him a few games, a few rough
Yeah.
ones. A couple weeks ago he was my major sit for the week. But this week, man, I think you start him if you have him.
Yeah. And then so my part two to that is, do you start, if you had the choice, Khalil Herbert or Brian Robinson?
Oh, Brian Robinson.
Yeah, it's
Everyone's
not
running
even
wild
close.
on the Bears. We just saw what
Yeah.
that little speedy Jaleel McLaughlin did last week on 10 touches, man. Brian
Yeah.
Robinson, he's playing real nice this year. Like, other than the Eagles matchup, he's been doing real good. Yeah, I'd take
Yeah.
Brian Robinson.
Yo,
Yeah.
and Jaleel McLaughlin's he's a sleeper. Make sure you pick him up. We put out a video
Yeah.
recently about talking about Jaleel McLaughlin. Yeah, if he's out on your waiver wire, he's not owned in very many leagues. Javonte Williams is dealing with a hip flexor. You might want to look at Jaleel McLaughlin. Anyways, back to this game. Is there anybody you're not starting in this game? Seems like we're starting everybody. These are two really crappy teams. So, if you were to start anybody, or if there was someone that you wouldn't start, who would it be?
I'm honestly, the more we talk about it, like, and I may be contradicting myself. I can't even remember back like 5-10 minutes ago. But Khalil Herbert and Roshan Johnson, like, you actually don't know what that split's gonna look like.
Hmm.
Like,
Hmm.
we don't know if that's gonna be a 50-50 split, and if it is, it's not good for anybody. So
Hmm.
I'm not starting them unless I have to. And I know a lot of running backs went down earlier in the season. You might be forced into a position where you have to start,
Hmm.
Khalil Herbert. But that's those are the guys I'm looking at to not start. Um, from a receiver perspective, yeah, I mean these guys look like starts to me, man.
You're starting DJ
Yeah.
Moore. What
I'm
about
starting
Darnell
DJ Moore. I'm
Mooney?
starting Scary Terry.
What about Darnell Mooney, man?
No,
Yeah.
I'm
Can
not
he get
starting
some
him.
love?
I'm not
No,
starting him.
Claypool's
I
on
have
the
him at the
trade
bottom
block.
of my bench, and
Yeah,
I'll keep him there. I'll keep him there, man. But yeah, no.
that might have been a little insight to our matchup because actually me and Sal are going at it in our home league. We're both coming off. You just come off a terrible loss, man. I got slapped up. I lost 4 guys in the last game. I think Sal just got a bad loss as well. So we're both coming off a loss. It's feces tier teams.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm just playing. I'm 2-2. Put some respect on my name, bro. Defending chip. No, I'm
Yeah.
just Snowman, is there anybody that you're not starting this week?
I'm probably not going to start Cole Kmet. He had a big game last week, 85 yards, 7 catches, 2 touchdowns. But if it's one position that Washington's good at defending, it is against the tight ends. I mean, they're bad against quarterbacks, they're bad against receivers. They're not as good against running backs this year. And I don't know if I can trust Cole Kmet. I know tight ends are just so hard to find that are going to produce consistently.
Tight end
If
suck.
you if Logan Thomas is out there, he's a better option to stream for this game. He is that security blanket for Sam Howell, so I would start Logan Thomas over Cole Kmet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you, like, okay, sure, Logan Thomas, obviously you're the top 3 tight ends, but who else are you really starting over Cole Kmet this week that really stands out as a better option? There's not many guys out there that I'm like, hey, that looks
Yeah.
better than Cole Kmet, you know?
Yeah, I'll give you a name. Well, I guess whatever, but I'd say like Zach Ertz against Cincinnati. Zach
Mm-hmm.
Ertz sat second in the league in targets behind TJ Hawkinson. I'm
Mm-hmm.
obviously starting the big 3 of Andrews, Kelsey, Mr. Swifty himself, and Hawkinson, right? Evan Ingram's got a pretty decent matchup. So there are some other tight
Yeah.
ends out there, but the tight end position is just such a
Sam
dumpster.
Laporta.
Samuel Laporta. I love that guy, man. He's sick.
What about Musgrave this week? He didn't do
Nah.
too well. He didn't do too well last week, but we were talking about him a lot the week before that, weren't we?
Yeah, Musgrave had 1 catch. He was only on the field for 13 snaps, and then he got injured. Man, Green Bay just has so many options. Jordan loves spreading the ball everywhere. 1 week it's Jaden Reed, it's Romeo Doubs, it's Christian Watson. I want to believe in Musgrave, but it seems like out of all the rookie tight ends, it's Laporta season, man, for sure. It's just yeah, I couldn't do that.
Some other tight ends. I do like Tyler Higbee. I mean, the Eagles aren't the greatest against against tight ends, so he's got a good matchup against the Eagles.
Mhm.
Jake Ferguson's getting targets,
Yo, have I not been talking about Jake Ferguson every
Yeah,
week?
he's
Jake
he's
Ferguson. Go get him. How many times am I saying that, man? What is he, 7 for
yeah.
7 last week with like 71 yards, man? This guy's got 7s all around the block, man. 7's a lucky number, man. Pick up Jake Ferguson. I'm telling you, like, what? Are you scared you're gonna go from like 8 points to like 4 or like 6 points to 2? Like these
Man,
positions don't get
even
you points.
5 points from tight ends is pretty decent,
Man,
right? If you just look
I'm
across the
sitting here
board.
like, well, I'm sitting here like, pick up Ertz. It's like 8 points, 6 points, 8 points. Like,
The targets are there, right?
bro.
It's the volume.
Man, tight ends suck. Conklin had a 1-yard catch for a touchdown. Like, tight ends suck, bro. And he was like tight end like 12 on
And
the
he's
week.
going against Denver. Look what Cole Kmet just did against Denver. I don't
Yeah,
know.
Conklin might be a sleeper, man. Yeah, we're gonna have another video about Zach Wilson, and we're gonna talk about that game because there's some things we need to talk about, some things we need to get off our chest for that one. But
Sure.
before we end this video off, I just want to say follow us on Instagram, follow us on YouTube, follow us on TikTok. We got over 1 million views on TikTok. We got over 30, 40, 50,000 views on Instagram. We're killing it on YouTube. We got your start sits questions. Man, hit us up. What do you got to lose? Your fantasy matchups? And what do you got to win? Your fantasy matchups. Hit us up, man. We got you. And shout out to our sponsor, Tenement Cards, man. Tenement.com. Check them out, man. Those guys are awesome. Go on their website. They do trading cards. They do some fantasy stuff there. You can earn points while you play fantasy on Tenement. So yeah, shout out Tenement Cards too. So who do you guys like? Tell me, who do you guys think is going to be the best fantasy player for this Thursday night matchup? Who's your fantasy stud of the week? other than the quarterbacks, because I know they're obviously going to score the highest.
Oh, I got Brian Robinson.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got Brian Robinson.
true.
Yeah, I mean, I was probably leaning the same direction. I like DJ Moore too, though, man. I think follows
Yeah.
up with another big game. You know, as long as Fields is on his game, then DJ Moore has the potential to have a big game, right?
For
I think
sure.
so
Yeah,
too.
man.
I like that.
I got Scary Terry this game. Scary Terry's gonna ball out. He's the best receiver on the field. QB's trash, but so's the defense. So hopefully he busts it up. You know what? Actually, Sam Howell's not trash. I just need to give him more
He's
respect.
getting better, man.
You know, he's
Yeah,
getting better, man. Honestly, I apologize. Sam Howell, if you ever see this, I'm sorry, bro. You're not trash. My bad, dude. You know about who I think is a sneaky play this week? Well, I guess you guys might have done it. Washington's defense against Chicago. Chicago does give up a lot of sacks. Justin Fields is prone to making turnovers, and if this does turn out to a shootout, then there are more opportunities for that because Washington does have a good front seven. So if you need a streamable defense, Washington might be one of those defenses. If you're playing the Bears defense, take whatever you're smoking and throw it out in the garbage because you're not starting straight up.
Oh man.
Well said.
All right, man.
Who
I
would
think I'm.
start the Bears defense? That's crazy.
Well, you know, like whatever, man.
If you're
I
in a
just
what,
thought,
32 team league, maybe?
yeah, in a 32 team league, the only other defense you might not want to start is what the Raiders defense. Raiders piss me off too, bro. Yo, come on,
Oh
Raiders.
man.
Come on. Anyways, man,
Raiders.
let's not talk about the Raiders. This is about Thursday night football. Raiders suck right now. Whatever. I've accepted it. Any final thoughts for this game at all?
Nah, I mean, I think they could
Who do you
probably
got winning?
they could definitely pick better Thursday night games, man. Like please.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, that's true.
Brutal.
At least they're putting good teams in London now. Like
Yeah.
you had the Chiefs playing in there, and now you got the Bills playing there, you know, because that's the Jaguars' new home. Because no one actually watches the Jaguars play in Jacksonville for some reason. It's hot as hell out there. What else are you gonna do on a Sunday? Go watch some damn football, man. Jacksonville's got a good team too. Anyways, yeah. Who do you guys got winning this game? And then we're gonna cut it.
Washington's at home. I'll take Washington. They do have the better overall team. I think it'll be close, but I'll take Washington.
And are you taking Washington with the spread, or are you just taking Washington money line? Remember, spread's 5.5.
I take them for money line for sure. The spread, I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe wait closer to the game to find
I'm
out.
gonna tell you about the Washington and the spread, man. Washington against the spread in the last 10, 4-6, and Chicago against the spread 1-8. So
you like Washington?
no, what I like is, yeah,
Sorry.
I'll probably take Washington with the spread, but Washington plus 5.5, or
Washington minus 5.
Sorry. I'm saying Chicago 5.5, plus 5.5, or I go Washington money line and just and you know the odds aren't great there, but you know there's some good player props I like for that game that'll probably pair up.
Yeah, man. I'm going Washington money line. I don't have faith in them winning the game out, right? Or winning the game out the spread, just because Chicago was so close, and maybe if they are starting to turn it around, if Justin Fields could put a performance through, maybe Chicago can squeak out a win. They haven't won in a very long time.
Well, I don't even know when the last time they won is, but 0 for 10 in the last 10. So
yeah, bro. I think I wasn't 30 yet. Was the last time they won, and I'm like 31, bro.
But honestly, I think the play isn't the money line or the spread. It's that over if you believe in it. I think there's some good evidence there for you know an overplay of 44.5. That seems doable. Defenses, you know, they give a point.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, we're gonna wrap it up here. So if you guys have any starts questions for Thursday night's game, hit us up, drop it in the comments. We will be getting back to you. If you think that Washington's gonna win, put a W there. If you think Chicago's gonna win, put a C there. Should be a good game, should be a shootout for my fantasy team. Please God, let it be a shootout. If not, that's okay too. We just want to watch an entertaining game on Thursday. All right, hit us up, Game Day Goons TV on all platforms. Game Day, we out.
Peace.
Peace.